Okay. Hi, I'm Dave, KB8QF in Middleville. We'll get started after Brian's tape here with the inside of the shack first, and then I'll take you outside and we'll climb up the hill and I'll show you a few of the antennas. Well, I hope the lighting is good enough. We'll find out on playback here, but anyway, we'll start off on the right side of the room, and got the Viking 2 and the NC300, and of course up above you can see the 75A1, the one that's been modified. That's where I put the switch on it there for 160 meters. Works pretty well. And of course the VFO, and there's one of those Collins lighted speakers. Of course there's a couple of those, one on top of the rack mount over here with there's the Ranger. And then the switching system, there's a lot of switches in here. There's the frequency counter and the little Heathkit scope. There's the what I use for the RF attenuator right there, an old E.F. Johnson RF attenuator, and the watt meter. That'll attenuate 100 watts down to about 20 watts to drive the commander, which you'll see a little later in the photos here. Okay, and in the rack cabinet, why, let's see, down here, I have trouble seeing through this thing. Down here at the bottom, and 75A4 and an SX101, that's an SX101. Let me get this backed up here. Too much close up here. There we go. There's an SX101 and SX101A of the second one, the 32V2, and a 75A4 there, kind of a mid-serial number one, and that's the old Navy receiver down there in the bottom, the RA07. There's the two KWS1s, of course, with the matching 75A4s. You guys will see I got all your pictures there on the back wall, along with the QSL cards. And here we go over to the, so coming down sort of to the left side of the room, if you will, is the, on the top there's the, I'll zoom in a little bit on this, some packets set up there with PK232, and there's a power supply for the 990. Rotor controls and antenna switching system stuff is up on top. And there's a Drake R8 receiver, which I can use with the 990 down here. This is the 990, or it can be used with any of the transmitters on the AM side of the room. It has two antenna inputs, and I can mute by closing to ground. And there's the main station control, the old Drake C4 station console, a very handy device. Got a electrical box in the back with a couple of 220 inputs on it, rotor control, and many of you are probably familiar with that 24-hour clock, etc. in that thing. And let me back this up a little. That's the Johnson kilowatt matchbacks and a Nye Viking tuner. And there's the commander and the L4B amplifier. 286 computer there, big deal, huh? And there's a Collins S line with the station console up above it. And I don't know how this is going to affect the light looking the outside window, but at any rate, there's the, maybe I should probably grandson here. Hear a little noise in the background. There's the Drake, have the Drake C line and another R4C and 75S3B receiver. That pretty much that's my side of the room. Just a little quick shot here of the workbench, so to speak. KWM2 there that's presently got some problems, to say the least. And nothing fancy, a little oscilloscope and old military frequency counter. Now I'll show you the annex in the other room. A few other pieces laying in there. Okay, over here, there's a 75A4, which I'm redoing the front panel on, and needs a new switch on it for CWAM. On that, really nothing wrong with that. The radio works fine. There's a 200V, and there's a power supply for the other KWS1. And over here is the Central Electronics 20A and the VFO that goes for that, the old ARC-5, and below that is the Valiant, which just works just fine. It's presently not in the system in the other room. Briefly, down here at the bottom is an R388, which in the process of putting back together, and OHT32B. Maybe one of these days it works. Just never put it on the air yet. And up at the top is the control head for the KWS1. So that's pretty much what's... Okay, well, we're going to move outside now. I don't know, we get this thing a chance to adjust here. Well, there's the grandson. And we're just outside by the garage now, and we'll take a look up the hill here, and we can show you one of the towers. This is the one with the looking from the garage side out. It's got the TH7 on it and dual bander up above it, and I don't know if you can see some of the side arms there with the wire feeders and the etc. going up there to it. We'll go up the hill in a minute. That's a control box up there on the tower right there that switches 6 different antennas up there on top of the hill. That tower's about 75. Trying to get Alex in the picture here, or the grandson. That's my Newfie. He's about 170 pounds worth of dog there. He's a good guy. Wouldn't hurt a fly. Just kind of big. He's just a big bear. And Brian's got his goats, and I guess I might as well throw one animal in this photograph also. So that's what we like to call Big Al. We'll go along the side of the house here. Show you the ham shack's right inside that window right there, and this is a pole where the open wire feeders come in. There's 2 600 ohm lines coming in down here. Those go to the into the basement window down there, to a couple of big knife switches, so I can shut those things off in electrical storms or whatever. Nice fall day out here. About 55 degrees. Beautiful day today. You back this up a little and turn around here, and we'll give you a shot. Looking right straight out up the hill in the back, and I don't know how well you can see through there or how that's going to come out. This goes right straight up the hill to the tower. This hill's pretty steep that the towers are sitting on, but you can probably see some of those posts going up there, and that's what supports the open wire line on those insulators. And I got place there for one more yet. You can probably just see the insulator sticking through the side of the post, and I'm going to put one more in there yet and get to that project for the 80 meter ZEP, extended ZEP antenna. Just haven't got that in there. But anyway, there's a shot looking up the hill, if you will, right from the backyard here in the house. Now, one other thing, this is the 2 meter setup. This is right in the back. It's about a 30-foot rolling tower. A couple of those AEA isopoles with a little 4-element beam for a packet. That's the television antenna there, below that. But that's right here in the back. Okay, we're about halfway up the hill here. See some of the support posts for the 80 meter full-size loop. There's another one over there. They're aluminum support posts. And the feed point is right at the tower up there at about the 50-some foot level. There's a Wyndham antenna, goes across there and goes down by the house. I don't know how well a lot of that will come out in here, but go on. Okay, this is the up on the hill now. The feeder line for the extended ZEP for 160 meters leads down to the house, and again the tower. There's a little better shot of the control box, and 40 meter inverted V there with that Ballon. We're going to go over here to the edge of the gravel pit now. I don't know how well this will come out, but this is a 160 meter full wave loop, 535 feet around. One of the posts is right over here. I can't even see it in the picture. Right over there is one of the support posts, and we go across. That's the gravel pit looking down into it, and the other side of it, there's the farthest most support post out there. Then it goes over here to the third one right there, 135 feet on each leg. This is the shot looking from the one tower. This is the line. This is the second tower. This is also about 75 feet. It's got the hazer on it. It's got a 4-element 20-meter monobander up there at the top, as you can see there. That's the hazer below it. Kind of handy. I can crank that down in about 10 minutes and have that whole antenna system on the ground. 160-meter inverted V. The Ballon for it right there, and the 320-foot long ZEP goes through that other side arm that's in the picture there, out to another support post a little farther out. That's the second. That's row 25 like the first tower, and you can see the ladder line coming down off of that ZEP antenna. Well, this is a shot from the second tower. Well, looking back at the first tower, and you can see we're pretty high here. It's a shot out in the countryside. You're looking several miles away there on the horizon from this particular vantage point. And it's kind of pretty up here, especially this time of year. Little shot here of this second tower with the 20-meter beam, and that's where the 300-foot long ZEP and the inverted V are, and they come through. And you can see the control box and the electrical switch box and the rotor control and everything on there. And that pretty well takes care of the antennas. Go down the tower and we'll pan over to the other tower over there a little farther away, and probably see some of the wires and stuff in the picture that go between the two towers. Take you just a little quick walk, and we'll be all set. Show you the just for a moment the rye field and a couple bow blinds out there. That's right back down the path here. I'll just turn around with the camera here. I try to keep some of these paths mowed right down there through the woods, and we'll go down there for a minute, and I'll show you the about a couple acre little clover field for the deer. Well, this is the clover field. Get a lot of deer out here in the evening. A couple acres here. Got this is looking back down the path towards the tower, and right over here is one of the tree stands, if you will. Took a nice 8-point out of there last year. It's about 10 foot in the air, and there's one down at the other end also. You can kind of get an idea, even from up here, the view. I'll just step over here just a little bit. You can see that we're pretty high point here. It's one of the highest points in this part of the township, so it makes a pretty nice ham radio location. And just a little look out in that direction. Back down the clover field, going the other way, kind of paralleling the house just a little bit. Well, that pretty well wraps it up, I think. I hope you enjoyed this little portion of it. And
okay, this is Ron W8UMZ, and this is the station where it all started back in 1967 with a night kit T60 transmitter and a R55 receiver. And both of these I collected for collector stuff, but the VFO is part of the original station yet. It's been used for all kinds of projects, and it's one thing I'd be hard pressed to part ways with. It's been handy for signal sources for all kinds of different things, so it's stuck around over the years. And that sign on the top of the receiver, that sign used to sit on top of my original station. And if you look, you can see where the N used to be from when I got my novice call. It was a WN8UMZ. and you couldn't quite get the gum stuff off there, but when it switched to an A, you can still see the remains of that. Okay, this is my my downstairs tube collection. This is the box that was in those pictures that were circulated. And I got a few additions standing outside now in the dust. And that CRT has got 2 guns in it. But I discovered after I bought it that the glass is cracked on it, so it's not evacuated, but still makes a nice showpiece. Okay, this is my 15th century wooden clock. That was in that set of pictures. And it's been giving me a little trouble lately. It's still kind of recovering from summer. All the wood swells up, and I've been trying to get it running again, but it keeps stopping all the time. It's time hanging by a thread. Okay, this is kind of my first introduction into ham radio. Was a station like this. It was a friend in Cutlerville, and my dad went to Peru, and we went over to his house and talked to my dad in Peru on this radio from Cutlerville. And it was a Heathkit Marauder and a 75A4 receiver. So that's kind of my reasoning behind this. So this is kind of the natural sequence after mine, or maybe the other way around. And then this is my my keyer that I built, and I use this primarily for CW. I got a 500 hertz filter in the 75A4. And
how many tubes that keyer got in it?
Oh, the keyer's got a dozen tubes in it, and then some, because there's a couple regulator tubes and stuff in it. But it's got a dozen. It's got, I think, 9 12AU7s and a couple of 6AL5s in it. And these two here, this is an SX101 and an HT32B transmitter above it, and that's what I do my sideband stuff with. So if you hear me on sideband, that's what station I'm using for that. And then I got a Johnson Adventure CW transmitter. And this is an extra Marauder I just picked up a while back. I haven't done anything with it yet. I used to have a Heathkit receiver set in there, but I sold that. None of the scopes, only one of these scopes is hooked up. This is the AM station. And this is what you hear me on in the morning. And this is the Johnson Viking 2. That's what we run most of the time. And once in a while we run the DX100. And that's the one I got the TCS transformer in it that's supposedly rated for 20 watts. But that's the old DX100. It needs a paint job pretty bad, but it seems to run pretty nice. And the NC300 receiver. And the another 75A4 I picked up this past season in Dayton. And I got all my wide filters in this one, and all the narrow filters in the CW station. And the 300 is a nice AM receiver. It doesn't do so good for sideband and CW. It's pretty hard to beat the Collins for CW and sideband work. But that 300, we sure like that a lot for running AM. And then after the night kit station, in fact I traded my night kit station off for a Heathkit Apache, this one. And so that's a little sentimental value there. And it's been kind of fun running that. I keep it on 10 meters most of the time. And when 10 opens up, I'll tune around the band and get on once in a while with that thing. So that's kind of got some old time sake to it too. And then above that is HQ 180 receiver, and that's Jay's. So I'm kind of on semi-permanent loan on that, I think. But when I get the command, it goes. So I've been kind of comparing notes a little bit between these three receivers. It's kind of interesting doing that. They all got their pluses and negatives, and then my standing wave bridge. I got a couple speakers you can't see behind here. They're all hooked onto those speakers, so they're all live at once. This is where we do all the AM stuff from. And this morning I worked the CW station with the Viking, so we can work a little 160 CW, but otherwise all the CWs on the other station. One of my workbenches, I got a couple of them down here, but most of the work gets accomplished on here. I'll build and fix equipment and stuff like that. And I got some radios setting up so I can sit here and listen to stuff or whatever. That little receiver on top is the one I listen to 160 in the car with. So I don't know if I'll be doing that this winter or not. I'm kind of wanting to do that again, so that's kind of fun. Sideband transceiver I built for 160. The original design is in the Mobile manual. It's a 75 meter transceiver, and I built one when I was in high school when I first got my license. So that's got a little sentimental value to it too. I built a new one up, and a lot of the same parts in this. Okay, this is going to be my new transmitter. This is the RF deck, the power supply, modulator, and the exciter. I got a collection of meters and stuff, and a lot of stuff isn't here. I'm just trying to get an idea.
This is radio station WBS QJ. This is the Globe King transmitter, model 500A. And along with the Globe King we use the Collins 51J receiver. And from time to time we use the 75A3 receiver just below it there. Goal of the 51J. Pretty much a basket case when we got it, but don't look too bad. Dave put a little paint on it, made it look good for us. KB8QF. Here's the Viking 2 station, along with the 75A4. And next to that we have the Ranger with a Thunderbolt amplifier and another 75A4. Up here we have a couple Collins receiver speakers. One of them is an original Collins speaker, one of them is homebrew. I'll let you decide which one's which. Over here we have our Drake station. Complete with an FS4 synthesizer and a digital readout. So 2 meter and 450 gear, 220 gear. The little RME 69 receiver that we picked up. The distinguishing feature about this receiver is that none of the knobs are marked.
And the reason for that is?
Hey, if you don't know how to run a receiver, you don't need one. That's what the guy thought. The valley that my 160 meter antenna runs across. Somewhere out there is the antenna. There's the feed line going up to the center of the antenna. That's about all you can really. But I'm standing on top of the hill that my house and garage set on, and this is the valley below. So you don't get a lot of depth perception here, but it's a pretty deep valley, and it's quite a ways across there. Far enough across the string of 160 antenna. Here's the tower of the TV satellite dish and tribander TH4, which is a vintage tribander from the early 50s. My little machine shop out here in the garage. We keep this heated during the winter, and spend quite a bit of time out here tinkering. It's kind of a mess right now, but had a couple projects going, and we haven't had time to clean it up yet. But as you can see, we got a little bit of everything out here: surface grinder, and the lathe and mill that you just seen there, and a little bit of woodworking equipment, kind of all mixed in here. We even got a little lathe that I picked up at Dayton, which I haven't really done a lot with yet, but if we have to do any small stuff, it's handy to have. So there we go. This is the other part of the hobby, I guess. By the way, we do have it air conditioned for summertime work when it gets really hot out here. Anyway, there you go. Well, that's it. That's the tour of radio station WBSQJ. Hope you enjoyed it, and like Dave says, we'll pass things along to the next person. See you guys on the air.